Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Before we begin our story, I want to help you relax. Take a moment to settle into a comfortable position. Let your body sink into the mattress or pillow or chair beneath you. There is nowhere else you need to be and nothing you need to do right now. This time is just for you. Take a slow, gentle breath in through your nose and softly out through your mouth. Again, breathe all the way in, filling your lungs with calm, and then breathe out, releasing any tension you've been carrying today. One more time. Breathe in. And when you're breathing in peace, and you're breathing out everything that no longer serves you. Now allow your breathing to find its own natural rhythm. Go ahead and find that rhythm. As you continue to breathe, imagine a warm wave of relaxation beginning at the top of your head. Feel it smoothing away every thought, every worry, every little crease of tension. The wave slowly drifts down across your forehead, relaxing the tiny muscles around your eyes. Let your jaw soften. Allow your tongue to rest comfortably. The gentle warmth continues down your neck and shoulders. If you've been carrying the weight of the day, imagine it simply melting away. Feel your arms grow pleasantly heavy, your hands completely at ease. The feeling of calm moves through your chest, your back, and your stomach. Each slow breath invites even more comfort, while each exhale lets go of whatever you no longer need to hold. The relaxation flows through your hips, your legs, your knees, your calves, all the way down to your feet and toes. Your entire body is now resting peacefully, supported completely. If thoughts happen to drift into your mind, simply notice them as though they were soft clouds floating across a quiet night sky. There's no need to follow them, just let them drift by while your attention gently returns to the sound of my voice. As the story begins, you don't have to stay awake to hear every word. Your mind is free to wander. Your body is free to rest. If sleep comes, welcome it. If you simply relax, that's absolutely wonderful too. Now close your eyes if they aren't already closed. Take one last slow, comfortable breath and let yourself drift gently into tonight's bedtime story. The title of this story is Ziyen's Enchanted Potions, and it was written by me, Roseanne Thomas. It was the mid 1980s in a place where lanterns flickered even without wind. Ravens watched in perfect silence, and ivy wrapped itself around ancient stone walls as though it were listening to secrets. When the last church bell rang over the rooftops and the moon climbed into the velvet sky, the quiet little lane at the edge of Blackbriar Village came alive. At the very end of the lane stood Ravenwood Estate, an immaculate mansion inherited from the late matriarch of the Ashcroft family. Rare black roses bloomed every year round in its garden. The windows glowed with soft violet light, and if anyone passes close enough, they might catch the scent of cinnamon, rainwater, lavender, and something impossible to name. This was the home of 18-year-old Ziyen Ashcroft. She lived alone and wasn't like the typical 18-year-olds in her town who were into boys, going to movies, riding bikes, or roller skating. Ziyen found herself alone after her grandmother she grew up with passed away. Her mother had left her behind at only 2 years old with her grandmother and moved to a big city to chase her dream of becoming a superstar in Hollywood. Years passed and her mother never came back, and she nor her grandmother knew the whereabouts of her father. She grew up quite reclusive because she was homeschooled all her life. Ziyen mostly wore black or dark colored clothing, and tonight she dressed in a flowing black velvet gown stitched with tiny silver moons. Her long midnight hair shimmered with blue in the moonlight, and around her neck hung a crystal pendant that had belonged to her late grandmother. Most people in the village whispered that Ziyen and her grandmother were both witches. She never corrected them. The truth was far stranger. The women of the Ashcroft family had inherited an unusual gift. They could create potions with herbs, flowers, rare minerals, and moonlight. Potions that have a strong magnetic response to the power of belief. Her grandmother had once told her, "The bottle of potion only opens the door. The heart must choose to walk through it." As a little girl, Ziyen never understood. As a young woman, she understood perfectly. Every potion she brewed carried a spark of mystical energy that awakened only when its owner truly believed in its purpose. There were bottles for courage, bottles for peaceful sleep, bottles for confidence before important meetings, even bottles meant to inspire creativity. Some bottles eased grief, quieted anxious thoughts, sharpened focus and memory, or helped lonely souls find hope again. And her best-selling bottles were for those who wanted riches or success in business. Some were topical and used only on the skin, and others were ingested. None promised miracles. They simply amplified the strength already hidden inside the person holding them. Word spread faster than wildfire. People traveled from distant villages, busy cities, and forgotten mountain towns to seek her grandmother's creations. While growing up around her, Ziyen learned the craft to perfection, and now she carried on Miss Irene Ashcroft's legacy, a legacy that offered them the immaculate solar powered mansion she now lived in, all by herself, and the two luxury cars she had under the garage. Soon, she no longer sold her potions directly to individuals at Ravenwood Estate. She had a serious wake up call one evening when a male customer started telling her how young and beautiful she was and made sexual advances on her. This man appeared to be old enough to be her father, and she viewed him as a pervert. He questioned where her family was and why such a young, beautiful woman would live in an estate all by herself. But what he didn't know was that she wasn't totally alone because she found solace and companionship in her pets. She had a snake named Twirly, a tarantula named Scooter, a large iguana named Paris, and two pit bulls named Brimley and Tessa. When this intruder tried forcing himself on her and had the nerve to chase her to the area of the estate where her dogs were kept, unbeknownst to him, she quickly gave her dogs the command to save her, and they did. After the dogs had a field day destroying the man and ripping him apart, with trembling hands, she picked up her house phone and called the police and reported the incident. After the man's lifeless body was removed and the bloodbath was cleaned up by the authorities after their investigations were complete, she decided to stop letting strangers visit the estate for their potions. She posted a sign for people who showed up to see her so they could know the new way she was going to run her business, and also built a large, tall gate and fence to ascertain her boundaries. Instead of entering the estate grounds, her customers had to place orders via telephone and wait on the postal service delivery or agree to meet up in the town on a specific day when she would drive one of her luxury vehicles to drop it off for them. Regardless of the drastic change in her business model, the business still flourished. Word of mouth continued to advertise her potions and worked like a charm. Her potions were so good that they changed people's lives. People continued to change their lives in a positive way, and the more orders kept flooding in. Gold coins, trinkets, and healing crystals filled heavy oak chests beneath the mansion in her basement. Brass shelves overflowed with rare ingredients. Her greenhouse expanded until it resembled a tiny cathedral of glass, filled with various glowing plants and flowers that bloomed only beneath moonlight. For several peaceful years, everything worked exactly as it should, as she continued living a solitary life with her pets. She even added two jet black stallions to her pets collection and paid some workmen to build a stable for them and fenced the entire property. She slowly became an equestrian, and as she cared for her pet, and she rode her horses daily. One autumn evening, things started to change in an eerie way. The first complaint arrived inside a black envelope sealed with dark red wax. Ziyen broke the seal. Inside of the envelope was a single page. Your courage elixir did absolutely nothing, the note read. She frowned. Impossible, she thought. She checked her brewing journal. Every ingredient had been measured perfectly, the moon phase had been correct, the timing was exact, nothing was wrong. She wrote a polite reply. Please tell me honestly, did you trust the process while using the potion? There was a P.O. box return address. The answer came the following week. Not really. I thought it was probably fake, but I wanted to see if it surprised me. Ziyen sighed softly. Exactly what she suspected. Still, over the next month, more letters arrived. 20, then 50, then over 100 in total. Some claimed their confidence never appeared. Others insisted that their dreams remained troubled. Some said their new business wasn't successful. Several demanded refunds. When all this first started, she believed they were isolated misunderstandings. But strange things continued happening. Even customers who genuinely believed in her potions reported weaker effects than before. That frightened her. She descended into the hidden cellar within her basement. Rows upon rows of glowing bottles lined ancient stone shelves. She uncorked a fresh vial of Moonlit Resolve, one of her oldest and most reliable brews. Normally, the liquid shimmered with tiny silver stars. Tonight, the stars blinked, then vanished. The potion looked ordinary, lifeless, as though something inside it had gone to sleep. A chill crept down her spine. This has never happened before, she whispered. She spent entire nights searching through some of Grandma Ashcroft's journals. Nothing. No explanation, no warning, no resolve. Meanwhile, her customers grew increasingly impatient. Unable to get her, angry customers began sending darker letters instead. One envelope contained nothing except burned paper. Another read, "You took my money, and your stupid potion did nothing for me. You need to send me back my goddamn money." A chilling one read, "We'll get to you, even if we have to jump over your high fence." Another simply said, "If I didn't get a refund, you'll regret it." Some letters described what they wished would happen to her. Others promised they would destroy every bottle she ever made. Yet another chilling message ended with, "Even magic won't protect you forever." Ziyen always folded the letters carefully and placed them inside a locked drawer. She refused to let fear overtake her. She didn't have the time to sit and respond to the flood of letters coming in. So when a local newspaper company pulled up to her gate one day requesting an interview and clarification on what had been reported to them about the potions failing, things turned around in her favor. Being featured in a newspaper back in those days was a big deal. But out of this negativity, she made a positive spin on it. She was photographed and asked a few basic questions about her potion business and how she got started. It was also mentioned in the interview how her potions had helped many people transform their lives. She was able to show the news reporter evidence of this with a few kind letters from customers who it worked for and wanted to express gratitude. When asked what she would like to say to the group of unhappy customers, Ziyen responded with this message: My potions have never been fake. In fact, they have helped a lot of customers improve their lives. I am currently working on revamping my products, and they'll be back, even more potent and better than ever before. My potions simply awaken what already lives inside you. Doubt closes the door that belief opens. There is no getting around it. You have to believe and you have to trust the process. Throughout all the negativity from some customers, the positive messages she received were what kept her going. I believed completely, one woman confessed. My potion worked beautifully, another said. Your potion worked like magic. Thank you so much, another replied. I nearly canceled my order because my brother said it was nonsense. I'm glad I ignored him. The debates became endless, but Ziyen wasn't worried about proving herself right anymore. She had discovered something far more terrifying. One by one, every potion in her cellar was beginning to lose its glow. Not just a few of them, most of them. After lighting several red and black candles and consulting with the ancestors like she and her grandma Ashcroft did back in the days when she was alive, she then extinguished every candle except one. In the silence, she opened her grandmother's oldest journal. The final page had always been sealed shut. Tonight, without her touching it, the brittle pages slowly opened on their own. Written across the parchment in faded silver ink were 7 haunting words. When potions fail, consult the full moon. And that was what she did. She lit a white candle, and as she stared at the majestic full moon that night, she spoke out loud about the problems she faced with the customers and her worries about the potions losing their potency. One night, her grandmother came to her in a vivid dream. Her grandmother, who never wore anything but dark colors, appeared in the dream dressed in a wide head wrap and a long, white, floor-length white gown. Grandma, Ziyen called out to her in the dream, why are you wearing white? I've never seen you in white clothing before. What does this mean? She found herself standing in the moonlit greenhouse where her grandmother had taught her many of the things she knew. And there, standing beside the ancient work table, was her grandmother. She looked exactly as Ziyen remembered, her silver hair braided with dried lavender, her dark dress dusted with herbs, and the familiar warmth in her gentle smile. You've forgotten something, her grandmother said. I've searched every journal, Ziyen said frantically. You searched the words, her grandmother replied softly, not the spaces between them. Ziyen frowned. I don't understand. Her grandmother lifted a crystal bottle filled with pale blue liquid. Moonlight gives a potion its soul, she said. Then she carried the bottle toward an open window where the first rays of morning sun peeked over the hills. But sunlight, she continued, teaches it how to live among people. Golden light poured over the glass in Grandma Ashcroft's hand. The potion suddenly glowed brighter than Ziyen had ever seen. Her grandmother smiled. Bathe every bottle in the morning sun before sending it away. The answer was that simple? It always was, said her grandmother. Before Ziyen could ask another question, the greenhouse dissolved into warm golden light. She awoke with tears on her cheeks. I miss you so much, Grandma. I wish you were still here with me, she said to herself. The first rays of sunrise were already spilling across her bedroom floor. Without even changing from her nightgown, she hurried downstairs. She knew her breakthrough had come, and she was excited. Even though it was just a dream, she knew that was really her grandmother using that medium to communicate with her. Every complete potion from her newest batch was arranged across long oak tables in the eastern courtyard. As dawn blossomed over the horizon, sunlight washed across hundreds of crystal bottles. Then something extraordinary happened. Tiny golden sparks danced inside each one. The faded colors returned, the silver stars reappeared, the bottles hummed with quiet life. Zian laughed for the first time in weeks. It worked! She yelled out to the universe. Hands raced towards the sky. Apparently, the newspaper interview only boosted her business to a higher status because after her story was published, those who didn't know about her and her significant potions, they now found out and wanted to try it out for themselves. Her clientele grew right along with her confidence and her swelled bank account. Weeks passed and orders continued to leave the estate in elegant black parcels. A month flew by and no more angry letters arrived, no threats, no demand for refunds, but instead, letters of gratitude returned. My confidence was finally returned, one letter said. Thank you, Ziyen. I slept peacefully for the first time in years, another read. Your focus elixir helped me finish the book I abandoned, another one said. Business flourished steadily once again for Ziyen. The talks that she was a fraud slowly faded into whispers, and perhaps there truly was something mystical about the mysterious woman named Ziyen. Ziyen never explained the effect that sunlight had on her potions. Some family secrets were meant to be kept a secret. The newspaper reporter had returned for a follow-up interview because they had heard the good news about her potions making a comeback, and this sent her sales through the roof. Summer slowly surrendered to autumn. One unusually chilly, quiet evening, as dusk engulfed the land, Ziyen sat reading beside her bedroom fireplace when a sharp, familiar cry shattered the silence. Kriha! She froze. She knew that voice. Crossing the room, she opened the tall bedroom window. Perched upon the stone railing was a raven. Not just any raven, though. This one had visited her since she was a little girl. Whenever she wandered the sprawling estate grounds alone, climbing ancient oaks, collecting feathers, or riding on a small wagon her grandmother had built for her, the raven she named Remy was never far behind. She often fed it with bread and talked to it and sealed the close connection they had. It had always appeared during daylight, never at night. She hadn't seen Remy in almost a year. She often wondered about it and why the visits got so sporadic. The bird tilted its head. Its glossy feathers shimmered beneath the moon. Then it squawked several times in quick succession. Quack! not randomly, more like purposefully, as though trying desperately to tell her something. What is it? Zian asked out loud. The raven gave one final cry. Squawk! It spread its enormous wings and disappeared into the darkness. She watched until it vanished beyond the ancient forest. Instead of fear, a strange excitement settled over her. She smiled. I think you're telling me my life is about to change. For some reason she couldn't explain, she believed it was something good. For nearly 28 years, Ravenwood Estate had been her entire world. She had been educated at home by her grandmother, who was a smart woman, and private tutors who visited the home. She rarely attended any community gatherings and was rarely seen in public. Her closest companions had always been animals. Her big colorful python, an emerald green iguana who enjoyed basking in the greenhouse, a tarantula, and two loyal pit bulls that followed her around like oversized shadows. And her recent greatest pride, two magnificent black Frisian stallions named Eclipse and Phantom. Powerful, elegant, intelligent beyond belief. When she learned that a nearby town was hosting its annual equestrian exhibition, something inside her urged her to attend. Perhaps it was the raven, perhaps it was fate, perhaps both. She entered Eclipse and Phantom into the riding competition. On the morning of the event, people couldn't help staring. Her flowing black equestrian attire, silver jewelry, and mysterious elegance made her seem almost like royalty. Then they saw her horses. The crowd gasped. She heard the positive comments that echoed from the audience. They're magnificent. I've never seen coats that black. They move like shadows. After the competition concluded, she wandered through the stables, checking on Eclipse. She was gently brushing his mane when a warm voice interrupted her. He's beautiful. She turned around. Standing nearby was a young man holding the reins of a handsome bay gelding. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with kind amber eyes and an easy smile that reached them effortlessly. There was nothing extravagant about him. His boots were worn, his riding jacket had clearly been repaired several times, yet he carried himself with quiet confidence. You have a good eye, Ziyen answered with a slight smile. He chuckled. I should hope so. He patted his own horse affectionately. I've been around horses since I could walk, he said, obviously trying to start a conversation. They spoke for about an hour about riding, training, horse temperaments, favorite trails, childhood memories, and it felt effortless. When he finally introduced himself, he smiled. I'm Rowan. She paused and looked at him. I'm Ziyen. They were so absorbed in the conversation that neither of them realized that the afternoon had slipped into evening. The announcement of the winner was made via a bullhorn, and unfortunately, neither of them made the top three with their horses. There were a vast number of spectacular horses to choose from, so it was a fierce competition. Before leaving, Rowan admitted sheepishly, I almost didn't come and talk to you, he confessed. Why? Uh, he laughed nervously. Intimidating? She raised one elegant eyebrow. I've been called mysterious, gothic, enchanting. I don't think anyone's ever called me intimidating. They probably just didn't say it out loud, he said with a shy smile. She laughed. It surprised them both. It was now mid 1990s, and cell phones were becoming popular, so they were able to exchange cell phone numbers so that they could keep in touch whenever they wanted and wherever they were. Over the following months, Rawan visited Ravenwood Estate often. Ziyen surprised herself by allowing a stranger into her world after being a recluse all her life. Was this what Remy the Raven was trying to forewarn her about? This new friendship was opening a whole new world for her. The first time Rawan saw the mansion, he stopped his horse at the entrance when she came out to greet him. You live here? He asked, wide eyed. I do, she said nonchalantly. By yourself? He asked quietly. Mostly. He stared at the sprawling Gothic estate, surrounded by towering iron gates and ancient gardens. I thought you were joking, he said. After nervously inviting Rowan inside, he was in instant awe. Then Twirly, her pet python, slowly slithered across the marble hallway, frightening him. Rowan jumped backwards. You own a snake? A python? I noticed, he said. A moment later, Paris the iguana wandered lazily across the floor. Then the two pit bulls bounded happily toward the door where they stood. Rowan instinctively stepped behind Ziyen after seeing them. They're friendly, she assured him. They're enormous, he said, wide eyed and scared. They're affectionate, she insisted. They're terrifying, he insisted. They're innocuous, she said. Unless I give them a command to do otherwise, she assured him again. She then told him about the chilling incident where she had to give them a command to defend her in the recent past, and they ended up annihilating a man who came to buy potions and then tried forcing himself on her when he discovered she lived alone. She had to let Rowan know that her dogs don't play about her in case he wasn't who he said he was, and got any weird ideas about harming her in any way. Within a few visits, the pit bulls were resting their giant heads on Rowan's lap. The python calmly wrapped around a nearby tree while Rowan worked in the gardens. Even Paris the iguana eventually accepted treats from his hand. Over a short period of time since knowing Rowan, the mansion stopped feeling lonely. Rooms once filled only with echoes now carried laughter. Rowan was actually funny and kept her quite entertained. Meals became shared conversations. Rowan was actually a good cook that really impressed her. He had found the keys to her heart through his delicious meals, along with riding horses with her. Long rides with her horses became everyday adventures with Rowan after a while. For the first time in her life, Zian wasn't merely existing, she was living. And she found that Rowan's company brought her joy that she never felt before. Love surprised them both. Only 6 months after they met, Zian discovered she was expecting a child. She had never imagined motherhood. Neither had Rowan imagined fatherhood arriving so soon. Yet, when she told him, he simply took both her hands. We'll face this together. This child will be a blessing to both our lives. Not long afterward, they were married in the estate's ancient rose garden. Only his close friends and family attended since she had no one else. For Ziyen, the greatest gift wasn't the ceremony, it was the family she suddenly gained. Rowan came from a big family with a lively household unlike anything she had ever known. He had three lively, bubbly sisters and four prospective brothers who treated her like one of their own from the very beginning. His cheerful mother filled Ravenwood's silent halls with laughter, fresh baked bread and cakes, and a tasty meal whenever she visited. Rowan's cousins and friends arrived ever so often to play basketball, ride her horses, and swim in the pool. That weekends became a joyful chaos. At first, Ziyen wasn't sure how to belong or even act among so many people, but little by little, they welcomed her into their world exactly as she was, and she fitted in quite well. No one asked her to abandon her black dresses and occasional gothic look. No one mocked her unusual pets. No one questioned her famous potions or judged her for that lifestyle. They simply loved her, and in time, she loved them too. Late one snowy evening, as herbal candles glowed throughout the Ravenwood estate, Ziyen gave birth to a healthy baby girl under the supervision of a midwife who they had hired to come to the estate for a home birth. The child scarcely cried. Instead, she opened startling silver gray eyes and looked around the room with an uncanny calmness. The midwife gently wrapped her in a velvet blanket before pausing. Oh, she said with a look of shock. Zian looked up anxiously. What is it? She asked, wide eyed. The midwife smiled in quiet amazement. She has a birthmark. Just below the baby's left collarbone rested a small mark, unlike any ordinary birthmark. It resembled a delicate crescent moon intertwined with the silhouette of a raven in flight, as though it had been painted there in black ink. The room fell silent as she held her baby in her arms for the first time and reveled in her presence. Zian felt very lucky to have such beauty wrapped up in her arms and a husband that loved her right there by her side. And outside, somewhere beyond the frosted windows, a single raven squawked about 7 times into the winter night. Squawk, 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 squawk. That's Remy the Raven, she said quietly as she smiled. It knows that my baby is here and wants me to know it's celebrating right along with me. Zian instinctively reached for the crystal pendant that had belonged to her grandmother. For a brief moment, the pendant grew warm in her hand, and although she said nothing aloud, she couldn't shake the feeling that the mysterious gift of the Ashcroft woman had not ended with her. It had just begun. The end. Thank you so much for listening.